know you.
You're famous photojournalist Frank West. Oh my God. What are you doing here? Do you wanna go back to my place? You wanna chill?
You know, there's something charming about the thrill one gets playing a zombie game. The fusion of both chill and intensity can cause a massive feeling of glee to many gamers alike. Dead Rising, for example. Released in 2006, Dead Rising was a free-roaming and non-stop zombie action video game. With its slogan, use everything as a weapon. The game came out during the beginning of the 360 era of video game. For some reason, this game isn't backwards compatible. So, I'm simply going to use footage from the HD remaster instead. But remember, this review is going to be about the original. Doing my research, I found that the HD remake has very little changes added to the game except for major glitches and of course the graphics overhaul, which I approve of. You play as Frank West, the iconic photojournalist set out to explore a mysterious viral outbreak in the small town of Willamette, Colorado.
I want to get shots of the whole town before the National Guard finishes roping it off.
The mall is basically 100% fiction, but I don't really mind that. The mall is notoriously known for having a population of 53,594, which is an achievement for reaching that many chills, labeled as zombie genocider. But the game, however, consists of an infinite number of Zabambo. But going back to Frank West, he stands as a low-level narcissist and adventurer at heart.
Remember that name, because the whole world's gonna know it in 3 days.
He'd rather shoot high and risk his life for this story than just simply fall over to the feds. Frank, to me, is a very unique character with a very prideful personality, but he does come across as egotistical and stubborn.
A hot-headed, underhanded, hotshot paparazzi with nothing better to do than to invade people's privacy.
I try.
Something cool I discovered was that Frank was originally going to be designed to be fat and ugly looking. But, get this, he was way too ugly to make it into the real game. That just blows my mind.
Now with this Frank, although there are similarities to the final version of Frank, it's clear that the idea that they had for Frank West was a totally different looking person. He was still a photojournalist and he still had his jacket. But the design for this Frank was overly Americanized.
But let's not talk about Frank anymore, let's talk about the why for a second. Why was this game so popular? The game wasn't just popular, it reached top 10 spots for best character, best game, and insert another thing here. This game was a piece of my childhood, and it was my very first game I bought for my Xbox. This game made me a big fan of zombie slashers. There's something about the idea of survival skills and wacky characters that tickle my enjoyment sack.
Oh, what the fuck?
Dead Rising was inspired by the 1970s and 1980s zombie flicks, most notoriously known for the George Romero of the Dead series.
Oh my God.
No chance. Forget it. Let's get out of here.
Wait a minute, they can't get up here.
Yeah, and we can't go down there.
Let's check it out.
May he rest in peace. The game on the bottom right even says this game was not developed and approved or licensed by the owners or creators of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Good movie, by the way. I'll probably review it in the near future. The game made it very clear that this game was not a ripoff, and it wasn't. Besides being set in a mall, the two pieces are very different. Dawn of the Dead had a lot more character development and fewer zombies, while Dead Rising is a lot more comical based and found with a well-rounded purpose. But I do feel that Dead Rising was inspired by Dawn of the Dead. The creators gave the game a very leisure feel by adding well over 800 weapons, coining the slogan, anything and everything is a weapon. That slogan does kind of push it, cause not really everything is a weapon, but let's see all the crazy shit you can use as a weapon. Die, you zombie fucks! Well, there goes my microwave. The RPG elements added to the game gives users the ability to enjoy the wonders of leveling up Frank while also gaining new combat moves, life bars, item slots, and even speed boosts. But on the con side of this, the game is difficult, especially starting out. Being limited so early in the game can cause numerous of deaths to happen, not just quickly, but annoyingly. As your health goes down, you will need to find food to replenish your health. I really like the adaptation of using food as health. I think it adds charm to the game, and it makes you feel like a very old game like Castlevania. The game follows a case system that varies in length. In addition, the game has a 72-hour time limit to beat the game or Frank ends up stranded at the mall. The game is very hard to 100%, if not impossible. There's an achievement that can be only achieved if you answer every one of Otis's calls, but answering Otis's calls makes Frank defenseless. But not only that, but Frank gets yelled at from Otis for hanging him up. Otis was one of the reasons why this game was receiving some negative criticisms. But another thing that really annoyed people was the AI system. The AI in this game is also very bad. The survivors, if you want to call them that, are dumb as hell and need constant care to survive. I've learned the best way to overcome this is to simply spam the Y key. So Frank will frequently call them and it will just remind them, hey, get the fuck over here. While on the page of the negatives, the aiming system seems to be very last minute and therefore can be very hard to use. Finicky controls, combat glitches, and poor AI all are heavily expressed in gamer reviews, even back in the early 2000s.
The targeting system was rustically imprecise. Aiming as an afterthought in a survival horror game? Come on. Frank also lacked dexterity in high-pressure situations. At the end of life's day, though, we loved this game. A 4
Seneca Beza
out of 5.
But Capcom knew what they were doing in this game. While characters are as blocky as a lunchbox, their design stays to be very charming. For example, a pair of survivors are Japanese tourists and don't speak an ounce of English for some reason. In order to communicate with them, you need to pick up a Japanese magazine to immediately learn the language. I'm not fucking joking here. Frank West learns Japanese by picking up a magazine. What the fuck? Holy shit, So creative ideas are very abundant in the game, and I love it. The biggest thing the game is known for is its psychopaths. The psychopaths make this game super appealing tenfold. Killer clowns, war vets, and obsessed store managers are going batshit crazy and attack Frank. Frank consistently gets bombarded with cultists and straight up fucking crazy people. This added to the game's difficulty, but in a good way. There's nothing wrong with a nice, difficult boss fight every now and then. However, if the boss is unfairly powerful, then it would be too much for my palate before yelling at the game to eat a dick. Countless review after review gave this game high status. Many critics say that the game's pros well overtook the cons. To me, this game is just too fun to not enjoy. While still having its AI flaws and control failures, the game has a lot of charm, especially with the little Capcom cameos you see. The game has multiple endings, and this increases the game replay value. And also, the infinite mode that follows the story makes it even more intense, as saves are disabled and health progressively decreases. For anyone wanting to give this game a try but are a little timid to the flaws, always remember there are different ways of playing this game. Frank is a photojournalist, so taking pictures should be a big priority in playing it.
Fantastic!
You can gain a lot of PP points simply exploring the lands and getting special kills. The game even allows the user to ignore the story and freely roam the huge mall. But at the end of the day, this game is full of fun. I feel that after all is said and done, I don't want this game to be forgotten. I've been known for going on hiatuses and disappearing after a couple episodes are made. I got a major inspiration to make this video after finding it sitting in my collection. So I do say that the game is not only worth playing, but worth a spot in the Unbated archive. Until next time, guys. See you around.
Man, it's really cool to be hanging out with Frank West, photojournalist. Cheers, man. It's the spot.
There's something I gotta tell you.
What is it, Frank West, famous photojournalist? Oh my God! Uncle Unbated! What are you doing here?
No time. I need your help.
Why? My help?
The universe is at stake, and I need extra time to defeat the Hungarians.
Wait, people from Hungary?
No, worse, but I can't explain now. I have a video I need to create.
Well, what video? What are you talking about?
Something I've been meaning to make for a long time. It ain't easy being cheesy.